Hey, how's it going, everybody? Cowboy Tim, aka Sarasota Tim. If you want to find me on YouTube, you check Sarasota Tim. But we're Cowboy Tim the last few weeks because we've been out traveling around, enjoying life, living on Social Security and a side hustle. Now, my side hustle happens to be YouTube. My channel is monetized. I receive income from it. But I want to talk to you about collecting Social Security and also having a side hustle doing whatever you want to do. It could be YouTube, it could be working at Walmart, it could be doing your own little skill set that you have, working for yourself, doing auto mechanics, plumbing, electrical, painting, whatever you know how to do to make some money. Let's talk about it and why you need to collect your Social Security as soon as you can. And that would be the age of 62. Now, since I've been making these videos talking about collecting Social Security, I've had cards and letters sent to me and emails by the hundreds thanking me because they didn't even know that they could collect Social Security at 62. They have only heard about full retirement age, or maybe even 65 when you get your Medicare. Or they may have heard, oh, don't take it early, you'll be penalized, you'll get less money. Well, I'm here to dispel and dismiss all of that myth. It's all a bunch of baloney. You're getting the story straight right here. And there's only one reason in this whole world that you should not collect your Social Security at the soonest age you can, and that is age 62. And that reason is you love your job. You just love it so much you don't want to quit. And you're making so much money that you don't want to take a reduced income of Social Security and have a little side income or do what we talked about a moment ago. You want to keep making big bucks. You want to let your life pass by. You love your job. You want to stay there, and that's up to you. In that case, more power to you. For the rest of us, for the masses in this world, for the rest of us that can't wait to retire and to get out of those jobs, we're working 40 or 50 hours a week, and start receiving a check from the government, your money, I call it free money, it's your money actually, called Social Security, that they will give you as early as age 62. Now they hope that you don't want to collect it. They give you this incentive that they'll give you another $500 or $600 or $700 more. It's actually 28.33% more. So you take a 71.67 reduction from what you could get by taking less money later. They say, wait a minute, it's more money. No, it's less money because you didn't collect for 5 years. When you could have started collecting your Social Security at 62, and you said, no, you Uncle Sam, you keep the money. Don't worry about it. I'll wait and keep working this job. I'm making really good money, or I'm not making that much money actually. Like the masses are just making the average income of 30 or 40 grand a year. I think that's about the average. And I think the median income is $70,000 in America right now. That's for two incomes. But if you're by yourself like me, and you've worked all your life, and you're way past your halfway point of living on this earth, and if you're at 50 years old, you're already way past it, because likely you're not going to live to be 100 years old. So you don't even have 50 years left. And they make you wait till 62 to collect your Social Security for the very first date. So now that's over a decade left, giving the average age of 73. I think I've heard 75. I've heard as high as 78. But let's say between 75 and 80, you live, okay? And you retire and start collecting your Social Security at 62, day one, you've only got less than 2 decades on average to enjoy the rest of your life, to do what you wanted to do, that you've worked all your life for, raising your kids and just working and educating yourself and growing up from a kid. And now you get this, you work and retire at 62, and you've got, less than 20 years potentially to live. And people don't even live past 62. People live to be 65. People live to be 70, and they're dying. They're dying every day. We read about it. So more than the money, what we're getting ready to talk about here, folks, you have to understand, do you want to just sit in a job and let life just pass you by? And now you put in those extra years and you get a few $100 more for your Social Security check. And Now you're older, and potentially you only have from 62, let's say, to 75 is the average age. That's 12 years. 13 years, excuse me. 13 years. All right, so now you want to take from the 13 years and extract another 5 years that it takes to become what they call full retirement age, which is around 67. Now you're down, what's 5 from 13? 8, 10, 12, 8 years? They got car loans longer than that. You want to live 8 years, and then let me tell you something. From the age of 62 to the age of 67 at full retirement age, you are going to change. You are going to change big time. You don't believe me? Remember when you were 12 and remember when you turned 17? What were you doing at 12 and what were you doing at 17? Your life was completely different. You were a little kid that couldn't go out of the front yard, and now you can get married, you can drive a car, you're graduating high school, you're doing all these things, you're working, you're a young adult, you're an adolescent, you are on your way to adulthood. But 5 years earlier, you were just a kid that, you know, had to report home, and you needed mommy and daddy to do everything for you except take you to the bathroom. At least you were potty trained by then. Everything else, everything that you wore, all your clothing, everything, you couldn't work, you couldn't earn it. You had to be provided for. Somebody had to take care of you. Okay, now you're 17. So that's the difference between 62 and 67. What happens? You don't grow to be smarter and older and more healthy and doing better things. You can be, actually, the masses digress. You're on your way out of here. Remember what we said? 50 years old, you're already way past the halfway point, because 40 years old, if you live to be 80, would be halfway. So 40 years old, from the age of 40 years old, you have to wait 22 more years before you can soon to retire. And then you want to add 5 more years to that to start getting a check for another $500 or $600. Pasadena. And why do they want you to do that? Because they know the average age is about 70 to 75, and you're dead and you're out of here. Or you have diseases, you have health issues, you have a mental capacity that's changed. You don't want to get out and go and do and ride dirt bikes and sand buggies and travel with travel trailers, go golfing anymore. You got to play from the gold, not the gold tees, whatever the tees are way up front, because you can't even swing anymore. Your back, your hips, you've already had a heart attack, maybe 2. You've contracted some kind of illness, you got a health issue. Your gizzards are wearing out. You're becoming a high mileage car, like a 100,000 mile car that just starts breaking down. And this is the point that you want to keep working and waiting until you finally say, I'm calling it quits. I'm going to get out and travel and kind of do what I'm doing, or go golfing or fishing, or going and seeing your family, or just sitting at home reading a good book, going to a park, working on your tan at the beach. Whatever it is you want to do, but choose your life and don't let it pass you by. Now, Social Security, folks, has never been from day one, and I've never advocated for it to be your total source of income. It cannot support you. It has never been able to support anyone, especially today with the inflation that we have. So what do? Well, if you're going to get a Social Security check at age 62, I collect $1,700 a month, okay, on my own Social Security. I don't get disability, I don't get spousal benefits, I don't get survivor benefits, I don't get pensions. I get my Social Security based on my 35 best earning years. And that, when it started, it was like $1,550, but we got a big bump a couple of years ago, and so now it's $1,700. All right, it was only $1,550, but now it's up there, okay, and it helps. And what I plan on doing, and what you need to think about, is when you get this $1,700, $1,500, let's say you get what I get, $1,700. Now, instead of working, you can work $1,700 less per month. How long does it take you to collect $1,700 at your job? How many hours do you have to put in? You're not making $1,700 a week, are you? So that's a couple of weeks, at least, if not more, that you are working to make $1,700. Now you can take 2 weeks off. If you're making what the average income is, I know people make more, but the average is making like 30 grand a year, 40 grand a year. So if you take the $1,700 that you're getting free money for the rest of your life, like clockwork, right in your bank account from the age of 62, now you can tell your boss and your company, I'm out of here. I'm going to retire. Now you can go and search for the job that you want, working 2 weeks a month or less if you have a trade skill and you can do what you've always wanted to do, but you're too busy working 40 or 50 hours a week for your boss doing plumbing, mechanical work, car repair, painting, or whatever your trade might be, nursing, whatever it is. Now you have the time, because you quit that job, that you can work 2 days a week, 3 days a week, a few hours a day, and because you're your own boss and you're self-employed, you can name your own prices. And you can make this additional $1,700 that you're getting already from Social Security and now double what you're getting and only working maybe a week a month. Now let's say you don't have a trade skill and you need to supplement that Social Security and you're getting the $1,700 that I'm getting. Well, you can go to work for Walmart, you can go to work for McDonald's, you can go to work for Costco, you can go to work for an office and answer their phone. You can go and do about anything you want to do. You choose it. That's up to you to find the thing that only needs help on weekends, first thing in the morning or only in the evenings. You can work a graveyard shift. I even considered stocking shelves for grocery stores during the graveyard shift so I'd have my days off. Or I could even do another job if I wanted. But let's say that you just want to work for a company where you're going to get a W-2. And you know how hard and how many hours you got to work to make $1,700 a month? It's like falling out of bed. They're paying $15 to $17 an hour everywhere in America now. And if you are going to work for less than that, that's on you. But I see signs all the time starting at 16 bucks an hour, even at Target. So if you're willing to work part-time and they don't have to give you all these benefits, they're working with people. They let you work your own hours. So you might only be working weekends or a few hours a day for a few days a week. And now you have doubled your income. You've gone from $1,700 a month free money, your Social Security, to now you're getting what, $3,400 a month? You can't live on that? Of course you can. How can you do it? Well, you don't have a huge mortgage. You don't have Netflix. You don't have expensive cell phone coverage. You don't have home Wi-Fi. You don't have car payments, mortgage payments, HOA payments, high insurance payments, and car payments, and lawnmower payments, and Home Depot payments, and Lowe's payments. You work your goal. Remember, at 40, you're already working past the halfway point of your life. You make it your goal when you're still working from 40 to 62, that's it. No more debt, no more signing up for big loans, car payments, Home Depot lawnmowers. You get yourself plain out of debt. You quit those Netflix and HBOs and all these things that you don't need, that aren't worth watching anyway. And you say, well, that doesn't cost me $10 or $20 a month. Well, when you got 3 of them, even 1 of them, and you can take $10 or $20 a month for the next 20 years until you become 62 to apply towards that car loan that you need to pay off, towards that mortgage, or towards something that you have debt that you need to get paid off or paid down to where it's very low. It's ideal to be debt-free, but if you only have a small debt every month, that's a lot better than the way people are living today, with every dollar they got coming in is going out, and there's no end in sight to ever come out of debt. In fact, they don't ever think about it. All they keep doing is signing up for more loans and more cars. Oh, that lease is up, let me get another one. Instead of buying it out and owning that car and just doing the oil changes and the brakes and keeping that car for years, everything lasts if you take care of it. You don't need to keep paying payments in debt. Get yourself to where your life is stress-free and you can travel, golf, fish, and quit the rat race. Don't have to fight the traffic every morning. You don't need to buy the dry cleaning and do all the stuff that you got to do. It costs you money to go to work. Yeah, part of your paycheck goes out to go to that job. All right, now we're going to talk about the numbers now. But first I wanted to tell you what I just said is life, you don't want to pass you by. You're already getting to be old. And at 62, every year after that, I'm 65 and I am no longer 62. And I was 62 yesterday. I'm going to be 67 tomorrow. That's how fast life goes. And guess what? At 67, I've only got another 13 years until I'm 70. And what am I doing at 70? What do you see people doing? I live in Florida. Right now I'm standing in Arizona, a beautiful place. But I live in Florida where it's a retirement area. In fact, this is kind of a retirement area. I went to the gym this morning and I see people my age and older. And what do I see them doing? I see them there with their white hair. I see them shuffling. I see them moving slow. I'm not disparaging. I'm saying this is what will happen to me too. This is what's going to happen to you. You cannot stop age and you cannot stop checking out of this world between 70 and 80, most likely. Sure, there's people who live to be 100 years old. What are they doing? They probably can't even get up anymore. They're just sitting around drinking Geritol in a chair, looking at their TV, just waiting to go home to the Lord. Folks, don't let your life get by to the point to where you're starting to shuffle and hunch over and you're getting all wrinkled up and your mind, your faculties are changing and you've had a heart attack and now you finally got a Social Security check at 67 and now you're going to get $600 more a month, but you don't want to do anything. You look back and you say, man, I should have retired at 62. Or what about the threat of them getting rid of Social Security? And I'm not even going to go there because I believe that's nothing but scare tactics. The day they ever talk about reducing it or getting rid of it is the day you're going to have a civil war. But anyway, I digress. But there is all that concern that people have. And don't let the insurance part stop you either. That's one of the biggest objections I hear people say. What about my Medicare? If I quit my job, I won't have health insurance. No, you won't. Or yes, you will. You can get what they call the Affordable Care Act. You ever heard of Obamacare? If you get your Social Security and a part-time job and that's your only income, and your income is relatively low, but your debt is low, what difference does it make how much money you're making if you don't owe anybody anything? It's what you can save. If you have a low income like that, the United States of America has insurance for you. It's called the Affordable Care Act. And you can get a policy from minor, major, whatever coverage you're looking for to cover you. Now, I've been a healthy person most of my life. I've had a few issues, but nothing that's been life-threatening. Of course, anything can happen. And if something like that ever did happen, I'd be the first one down in the emergency room, save me. And how I pay for it? Well, they're giving, we have people in this country that aren't even legal here, and they're getting medical services. So you pay them what you can, but you can get the Affordable Care Act, and that'll get you for a few years until you're 65, and then you get Medicare. And I'm going to make a video on that too. Don't fall for that, get that plan that costs you $6,000 a year, and you don't even use it many years of your life. You just pay because you can go anywhere. Like I'm over here in Arizona. I have the Advantage plan that's free. It doesn't cost me anything for that plan. Those are the two choices you have at 65. You can either get the pay for plan, where it's like insurance. You buy it. You pay every month $300, $400, $500 between dental, hearing, vision, and the medical plan. And then they give you, and then they take out another almost $200 a month from your Social Security for what they call Part B, that none of us have any choice of. So when you put all that together, you're spending about $6,000 a year and you haven't even gotten sick yet. You haven't even gone to the doctor. I chose the plan that did two things. One, it didn't cost me a penny. It's free of charge. And what do? I don't get to go to anywhere in the country. I have to go to where I live. Well, that's exactly what you do when you work for somebody and you get a group policy. You go within your network. You go within your area. You don't get to go to California when you work for ABC Service over here in Boynton Beach, Florida. You got to go within your network. Now, some of the plans have an expanded network, and maybe there might even be one that has national coverage in an emergency. But you're only going to do that if you're somewhere else. Why are you going to be somewhere else? Okay, I'm out traveling right now, so I am somewhere else. But guess what? If I need an emergency, I'm covered. I can go right into an emergency room. Or if I need to get a course of antibiotics because I develop a cough that there's no cure for, but I want to get a course of antibiotics that can knock out the bacteria, I just simply walk into a urgent care. What does that cost? $100, $200, $150? That's cheaper than $6,000 a year for that supplement plan. Now, I'm not saying if you're just so loaded and money's just falling out of your pockets and you got a pension and you just like the idea, you're going to be a regular travel and you've already got health issues. You need to see a doctor every other week, but you want to travel and you want to be able to go anywhere. Then by all means, throw down $6,000 a year, take the supplement plan. But the Medicare Advantage plan for people that are relatively healthy is free of charge. And you can even get plans like I've got that pay you $150 back into your Social Security. So I don't even lose that $175, only $25. I pay $25 a month for my Part B, $150 a month. Humana Gold, who I have for my Medicare, pays into my Social Security. So it costs me $25 a month for the same coverage. I've had eye surgery, I've had dermatology done, I had a little thing done recently. I'm gonna go back when I get back to Florida, and they want me to come in and have a little more taken off using Mohs surgery, which is like cosmetic, completely covered. I gave my doctor, my special, I think it was a $10 or a $20 copay. Okay, that's it. So when it comes to being 65, if you get your Social Security at 62, you've only got 3 years to worry about it. And then you can choose to either give up a lot of your money and pay for a supplement plan, or you can go the free plan like I did, or you can take the Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, for a few years for a supplement. They pay the insurance for you, or most of it. You might only pay $20 a month, $5 a month, nothing a month. You have to just go online and apply. But you don't have to be without insurance. I went without it. I didn't even know about it for a while. And then I did take it right before I became 65. And then I canceled it because I have to get on Medicare at 65. And now I have the Advantage plan. The one that you always hear on TV from those washed up actors trying to get you to go on it. The one that you always hear everybody say, don't do it. It's the worst plan in the world. They're gonna let you die. They're not gonna cover anything. They're gonna this, they're gonna that. Hogwash, hogwash, I say. You get that plan that's free. You take your Social Security at 62. You start getting your money now. You start living your life now. You don't put off your life for 5 more years. You don't spend all this money on insurance that you don't need unless you do. You crush it and live your life the way you were supposed to do it. The government and these people out there, these naysayers, they all want to talk you out of it because they're in the financial assistance business. They're in the call me and I'll tell you how to spend your money and invest it business. And meanwhile, they make money on you listening to them. Even half these YouTube channels I see promoting the supplement plan because they want more money from that plan than they get for the Advantage plan. So anyway, I digress. Let's get back to the numbers now on how you actually get as much money retiring and collecting Social Security at 62 as you could ever hope to get waiting another 5 years. Are you ready? Here it is again, proof. And the naysayers hate it, but we're gonna keep proving them wrong. All right, I get $1,700 a month. And that's $20,000 something a year. All right. For the 5 years that I collect that until I'm full retirement age, that you don't collect if you're going to wait, I collected $102,000 in my bank, in my pocket. Okay. Without having to work for it. It came to me in my bank every month. Over 5 years, I look back, you're just starting your Social Security today at 67. I started 5 years earlier. I'm $102,000 deposited ahead of you, okay? But I also went to work making the same amount of money, another $1,700 a month, of which I'm entitled to do without any penalty. When you collect Social Security, you can work. And I decided I didn't want to go to work for 4 weeks a month or 40 or 50 hours a week. I only wanted to work a few days a week. I got a trade skill. Or I went to work at Costco or Best Buy, or I worked at McDonald's or Walmart, an office, an air conditioning company. I answered their phone for them. I was at the golf course handing out golf carts. I was taking it easy. I was collecting tips, all right? And I made $1,700 a month for the last 5 years doing my own thing, doing what I want to do. I enjoy it. It wasn't like that grind job I had for 20 years before, or the multiple jobs that I had. I'm just doing what I want to do. And I've done a few different things. I just keep finding something better. I keep finding a way to make my $1,700 faster, quicker, and with less time of doing it. Now I'm collecting $40,800 a year because I'm also supplementing my Social Security. And I got no debt or very little debt. I'm smart. I'm thrifty. I paid off my car. I got a paid off car. I don't have credit cards and lawnmower payments anymore. I sold the house. I'm renting a villa. I bought a little condo. I got a real cheap payment on it. I had all this equity. I put it all down in that. And I bought a mobile home. I got an RV. I moved in an RV. That's what I live in. Okay, I did whatever it took. I found my niche to have a low overhead. That is up to you. Okay, but now you got I got $40,800 a year coming in by doubling my $1,700 a month. In 18 years, at age 80, when I most likely die or before, I will have collected $734,400, almost $750,000, working a little bit for the rest of my life, enjoying myself, which is healthy. People say, oh, well, who wants to work when they're 65 or 70? Who wants to work when you're 55? Who wants to work? But if you're doing what you like, you're handing out some golf carts, you're sitting on your duff, you're collecting some tips, you're getting free golf because you work there, I call that pretty cool. And I know a lot of 80-year-olds out there hitting the ball around that's exactly what they do. So I collected $734,000 by making $1,700 a month Social Security and another $1,700 a month working for 18 years. And then I got called home to heaven at 80 years old. Not bad, not bad at all. Plus I got to do all I wanted to do for 5 years earlier. And if my last several years were of what can happen to me as well, like when I became 67, even though I'm still trying to work, and I had a heart attack, or I contracted some kind of disease, or I broke my hip, or my eyesight's going bad, or I can't pull a camper trailer anymore, at least I did it for the time I did it. And I didn't get ripped off and not being able to do it. I didn't stay at some job letting life go by. I did it. I got my memories. I lived my life. I did it my way. Now, remember the reduction they tell you that you get, it's not 30%, it's 28.33% if you collect at full retirement age. It's only if you go all the way to 70 years old do you get more money. And that's just ridiculous altogether. But at 28.33% reduction, or if you just multiplied 71.67% of what the full retirement amount of money that you get, I would get $2,375 a month if I want to wait 5 more years and leave the $102,000 on the table that I didn't collect for 5 years. Just leave those checks in the government's hands. They don't go in the bank. They're not saved for me. If I want to just throw that away and wait for 5 years and get 28.33% more, which comes out to roughly $2,375, that's $675 more money. That's a pretty good amount of money. I'd like to get $675 more money right now instead of the $1,700. But wait a minute, hold the phone. Let's take a look at it. So you waited 5 years to get it, and you lost the $102,000 that you didn't collect. Now you got $2,375 coming in. Day one, you got $2,375 in the bank, and I've collected $102,000 already. But wait a minute, we both go to 80 years old. You're getting $28,500 a year, but you're only going to collect for 13 years because at age 80 you check out too. So you collected $370,500. I collected, without my supplement money, without working at all, an amount of $367,200 over 18 years, 5 years more. Do you realize that's only $3,300 less than you get if you make it to 80. You got to go all the way to 80 now. It's only the last few months that you even pull ahead. $3,300 is all I get less over 18 years, ladies and gentlemen. So what is that? $3,300 over 18 years is $183.33 a year, or $15.28 a month. That's how much more money you're going to get waiting till your full retirement age to get the $2,375 if you live all the way to 80 years old. Also, these numbers, I'm already ahead of you, are based on no increases whatsoever in our Social Security for the rest of our lives. These are just to keep it simple. This is just an example. The increases that we get, called COLA, cost of living adjustment, every year, for 40 years has amounted to nothing. It wasn't until 2 years ago when we got this pandemic money, this big inflation raise of 8.7%, we all got a big bump. And it was a long time in coming. We should be getting that every year. And if we do, bonus, because the math will still work out, apples to apples. But this is saying that you never get another penny other than $1,700, and you will, for the rest of your life till you're 80 years old, and then you check out. And this is also to say the $675 that you would get more, or the 28.33% more that you would get waiting 5 more years, that it never went up either, that you would get a total of $2,375 a month. And if you collected it for the 5 years less, you would have $3,300 more over at the end of 13 years, or $15 more a month. Hooray! Is that worth letting your life pass by? Is that worth staying at the job? Unless it's that one reason that you're making so much money and you love that job. Otherwise, quit that prison job, collect your Social Security, apply for it 90 days before you become 62, because it's going to take you 2 months after you become 62 to get the first deposit, because you have to be 62 and 30 days old to qualify. They want to make sure you're actually there. And then 30 more days before you get your first check. And then it'll be put in your bank every month. It's the same Wednesday, second, third, or last Wednesday of the month for the rest of your life. And then just get out there and get yourself a little side hustle and double that and start living your life. And if something happens to you later and you become ill or sick, at least you lived your life. And rather than waiting until something happens and you got the money, but now you can't do anything with it, you know, it's just a sad thing that people are duped into believing that they're going to get $3,300 more money over 13 years and waiting 5 years longer, or $15 more a month. That's a bunch of baloney. Don't believe it. Don't trust anybody that tells you to collect your Social Security later, unless it's that one reason. You love that job and you're making so much money that you would even be able to keep your Social Security, because they would take it back because you go over the earnings limit. But if you're tired of that job, you're an average Joe like me, you're like the masses in this country. You're not one of these people that have bought and sold 10 homes and you're the GM, you're the owner of a business, you got a 401 that's worth $10 million, and you just are just this investor, you got Airbnbs, you're Mr. Rich, you're Mrs. Rich. Well, good for you, God bless you. But for the masses in this country, the people that are serving us and taking care of us and working hard for their jobs, and they're already 22 years past their halfway point of their life. I say it's time to retire, start getting a check, doing what you want to do, and crush it.